What's going on, realtors? In this video, I'm going to be addressing the question that basically every real estate agent asks me, and honestly has a lot of realtors pretty scared right now. That question being, is AI going to replace real estate agents? I think almost every call that I hop on with realtors, this question gets asked, or sometimes it's like a variation of the question, like what specific parts of the real estate agent's job is going to be replaced by AI. But I've also talked to some of the, let's say, older real estate agents who firmly believe that AI is a fad and it's not going to replace any part of the realtor's job, and it's basically just going to go the same way the BlackBerry went. So let's first talk about what it is that a real estate agent does. As a real estate agent, our job is essentially to be a consultant or an advisor to somebody who wants to buy or sell their home. The reason why people hire a real estate agent is typically because of their expertise, their market knowledge, and their experience. I don't know about you, but in my real estate business, I've never had somebody hire me because of the CRM that I'm using, or the type of car that I'm driving, or even the type of suit that I'm wearing. It always comes down to how much do you know about the market, how much experience do you have, and are you gonna work your ass off for me? Buyers and sellers who are hiring a real estate agent want to know that they have somebody out in the field going to bat for them every single day. Whether that's selling their home for the highest price or helping them buy a home for the lowest price, people hire realtors so that they can go out and do the work for them. Everybody knows that if they really wanted to, they could negotiate their own price, they could contact their own sellers, they could put a for sale sign on their front lawn and post it on Facebook Marketplace. Now, maybe if you went back 50 years, then you could argue that people were hiring real estate agents because of their exclusive access to the MLS, but that's just simply not the case anymore. There's so many for sale by owner websites that you can list your house on. There's a ton of websites and apps where you can go and you can look at what is currently for sale, and even some that will show you what is recently sold. You can look up neighborhood stats, sold stats. There's a ton of different ways that somebody can choose to buy or sell their house on their own. You could say the same thing about many different professions. Let's say you wanted to incorporate your own business. You could go down to the registration office, fill out the forms yourself, and have your business incorporated. But most people choose to hire a lawyer because they know more about the process than they do, and they're gonna ensure that the process is done correctly, and it gives them that added peace of mind. If you're wanting to build a deck in your backyard, everybody knows that you could go to Home Depot and pick up a bunch of wood and screws and buy a drill and all the different materials and build the deck yourself. But most people are going to hire somebody who builds decks professionally because they know that it's going to be done right. And again, it gives them that peace of mind. It's the same thing with real estate agents. People hire us because they want the peace of mind knowing that they're being guided through the process correctly. So where does AI fall into all of this, and how much of our job is AI going to replace? Well, in order to figure that out, we have to understand that there's kind of two different types of jobs that a real estate agent does. One will be customer facing and the other won't be. What I mean by that is there's customer facing things that you do in your business where you're actually speaking to the customer face to face or meeting with them in person, things that you have to be physically present for and the person expects that they're speaking to you directly. For example, if somebody said, hey, can you meet at my house so you can give me a property valuation? If you just said, well, send me pictures and I'll evaluate it that way, you're probably not going to get hired, because people want you to be there physically present, looking at the home with your own eyes so that they know that you're giving them the most accurate valuation possible. But then there's a lot of tasks that we as real estate agents do that the customer may not even know about, nor do they really even care about how we're doing it or what tools we're using or even who's doing it. For example, all of your admin work. Your client doesn't care who's handling all of your admin work. They don't care if it's you, they don't care if it's your assistant, they don't care if it's an entire support team that your brokerage has. Same with writing up contracts. Your client usually doesn't care who writes up their contract. If you said to them, do you prefer if I write up the contract or my assistant? They'd probably say, I don't care, as long as it's done correctly. These are tasks that are not customer facing, and it really doesn't matter how they're done or who does it as long as it is done correctly. So there's things in your job that are customer facing and non-customer facing. But let's break it down even further. If we had to zoom out on the entire role of a real estate agent and break it down into sizable chunks that we can look at individually with a magnifying glass, I would say that realistically there's probably 4 different pillars, let's call it, of what a real estate agent's job consists of. Now, to help understand this better, I created a little diagram that we're going to jump into where I'm going to break down each pillar what is involved in each pillar, and then how much of each pillar could be automated currently with AI. So let's jump into that diagram. So if we break down the role of a real estate agent, you can realistically break it down into 4 specific pillars. Now, some of you watching at home might think of a few extra things here and there that you do in your business that makes you special, but I think in general, these 4 pillars cover pretty much 90% of all real estate agents' business. Obviously, I don't have everything included in all these little details, but it's still a pretty good overview of a real estate agent's business. So the first pillar is lead gen. So lead gen, obviously lead generation. This is where you're actually driving your business by having more conversations with more people that eventually turn into more clients. Most common ways obviously are going to be social media, maybe Facebook and Google ads, referrals, word of mouth, door knocking, things like that. Yes, I know there are more ways to generate leads, but these I would say are the most common across all real estate agents. The second pillar is going to be lead management. So this is where you've already generated the leads, but now you have to sort of manage the lead and try and convert them into a client. So this pillar is going to include things like lead qualifying, long-term nurturing, attending listing appointments, and buyer consultations, basically interactions that you're having with the leads before they have converted into your client. The third pillar would be client and property management. So these are the actual kind of inner workings of things that you're doing as a real estate agent once you've already got them as a client. So this could be things like showings for your buyers, open houses for your listings, listing preparation, doing inspections once your buyer gets their offer accepted, and then giving reassurance to your client. This is obviously a big one that real estate agents do for pretty much every client. It's kind of just giving that mental and emotional reassurance that, they're making the right decision, they got a good price, almost like being that psychiatrist for your client. And then number 4 would be admin and support. So this is kind of the more boring stuff with being a real estate agent, like writing your contracts, doing any kind of admin work, transaction management and conveyancing, answering your emails, and maybe filling out miscellaneous documents. So this is how I break down the job of a real estate agent into these 4 pillars. Now you can comment down below if you disagree with me or you think I should have added something, but in general, I would say these are the 4 main pillars that make up the role of a real estate agent. Now that we've broken it down into each pillar, we can actually dive into each one individually and look at it through a magnifying glass and see, what is currently possible to automate with AI, or what's even coming in the near future in terms of AI technology and how that's going to affect these individual pillars. So let's break it down. So we're going to go pillar by pillar, and I'm going to talk about each one of these points that I laid out, how much of it can currently be automated or will soon be automated. So let's start with the lead gen, social media. Now, what I mean when I just vaguely say social media is obviously posting and answering comments and DMs and things like that. Basically engaging with your community. Right now, I would say about 80% of your social media can be automated with the right tools and automated workflows. Let's think about this. Posting on social media, like the actual action of posting and writing your caption, can already be automated. There are a lot of tools and API integrations where you can already set it up so that it posts to your social media for you. Now, what about creating content? Well, AI can obviously generate images and generate videos, as well as generate text posts and status updates and LinkedIn articles and things like that. I would say that it can't handle it 100% because you still want to have that personality there, like uploading pictures of your dogs or your family or whatever it might be. But in terms of your real estate business, not your personal social media, but your real estate social media, I would say about 80% of the content creation can actually be done by AI right now. Remember, you can also have AI pull images and information from your listings when it goes live on the MLS or on your website, and then automatically post that to your social media too. So it doesn't have to be just AI generated images, it can also be images pulled from online. Next would be answering comments and answering your messages. Obviously, if you've watched my other videos, you know this is totally possible. You can have AI agents inside of your social media accounts that are going to respond to your social media comments and to your messages, and even go one step further, like sending people guides or continuing on with some specific automated workflow that you built every time that somebody comments a specific word, let's say. So as a whole, I would say about 80% of your social media right now can be automated with AI. Next, Facebook and Google ads. So for this, I put about 95% of it can be automated. So let's break this down again. You have creation of the actual images or video and the copy that you're using for the ad itself. Then you have the actual posting of the ad and creating the ad campaign. And then thirdly, you have to actually analyze the analytics and see what's working and what's not and figure out how to tweak that stuff. So the first part, creating the images, creating the copy, the titles, all of that can completely be automated by AI, no problem. Now the second part of going into like Facebook or Google and uploading the images and the copy and picking your keywords or your demographics or whatever. There are some tools that are trying to automate this right now, and some of them are doing a fairly good job. But I think as of right now, when I'm recording this, June of 2025, I would say that they're not quite there yet. So this part I would continue doing yourself. Now there are some tools that make this a lot easier. For example, a lot of real estate CRMs will have direct Facebook or Google ad integration where they simplify the process so that you maybe just check a couple boxes and input a few items and then it'll post it all for you. So you don't have to go through the entire Facebook ad manager platform, let's say, but it's still not 100% automated. So I would say that specific part of this is not quite there yet. But then the third part of analyzing the data, figuring out what's working, what's not working, and how you should tweak things, that can already 100% be automated. There's a really, really powerful tool called Hyros, which basically just integrates with your Facebook ad account that will track your data and watch what's happening and tell you basically exactly what you should be doing with your ads, what needs to be changed, where you should be doubling down, things like that. I'll list that tool in the description below. Again, it's called Hyros. So with all that being said, I would say, about 95% of Facebook and Google ads can currently be automated with AI. Next, we have referrals. So for this one, obviously you can't automate what comes out of other people's mouths in terms of referring you to their friends and family, but you can automate the part of you asking for the referral, because a lot of times referrals come from you asking for it, right? Texting them and saying, hey, do you know anybody, or could you recommend anybody, or whatever. And that part can be automated with AI. So you can set certain parameters. So let's say 30 days after a transaction closes, or 6 months, or a year after, you're going to send automated text messages or emails to all of your past clients asking for referrals or maybe even reviews. And that will at least automate that part of it of you asking, so that the rest of it, the other 75%, is obviously still on them, but you automated a little bit of it. So I'm going to say about 25% of the referral lead generation process can be automated right now. Word of mouth, this one I put 0%. I mean, I guess a part of it can be just in terms of staying present on social media and making sure people are always talking about you and always thinking about you, but the actual act of people talking about you, you can't automate that. That's on other people. And then something like door knocking, I mean, that cannot be automated, and it's going to be a very long time before it can be automated. Maybe if they invent robots that can go do that door to door for you. But door knocking for right now is completely safe. That will not be automated by AI anytime soon. So what do we got here? We got 80% of social media, 95% of Facebook and Google ads, 25% of referrals, 0% of word of mouth, and 0% of door knocking. So, I mean, I'm just going to do quick math in my head. 80, 90, 25, 0, 0. I would say that's going to probably average out around 85%, let's say. So 85% of the lead gen pillar can currently be automated with AI. Let's go over to the automation tracker here that I built, and we are going to mark that as 85%. So 85% is probably going to be here. Okay, so 85% of lead gen can be automated with AI. Let's go to pillar 2, lead management. So again, this is where you are managing your leads to try and convert them into clients. So lead qualifying. Well, yeah, about 98% of all of your lead qualifying can be done with AI. If you don't believe me, I have a video, I think last video or 2 videos ago, if you go back on my page, where I show you how a lead qualifying agent works. You can do this via text, via email, even via phone call with an AI voice agent, where every time that you get a new lead into your funnel or into your CRM, the AI is going to reach out and start qualifying them. So it's going to ask all the same questions that you would normally ask. It can talk to them just like a human, make them feel comfortable, make them laugh, whatever it is that you want to do. So lead qualifying absolutely is almost 100% there in terms of automating it. Next is long-term nurturing. This one I put at 100% because pretty much every realtor's long-term nurturing is automated anyways. You have some kind of smart plan or automated plan in your CRM that sends automated emails, or maybe text messages depending on your CRM. So that's pretty much 100% automated already anyways. Listing appointments. I put 50% of the listing appointment process can be automated. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, about 50% of the listing appointment process is you preparing for it. So getting the research, getting all the data, maybe putting together like a brochure or some kind of marketing presentation or whatever it might be. Putting all of that preparation together is about 50% of the battle. The other 50% is showing up and presenting it. And then, hopefully you get the listing. So the first half of doing the research and putting together the presentation, that can all be automated right now. I mean, you can easily have an AI do the research on sold property data, neighborhood stats, crime data, all of that information that you would want, collect pictures of the home, collect pictures of, surrounding amenities and things like that. And you can have it put it all into a beautifully designed presentation and give that to you. So AI can do all of that for you already. Obviously, what AI can't do is show up to the person's house and do the actual appointment. So I'm gonna say about 50% of the listing appointment process can be automated currently. About 99% of buyer consultations can be automated. Now, you might be one of those more old school agents who is meeting their buyers in person and showing them, a paper brochure. If that's the case, then again, I would say about 50% of it. But most realtors that I talk to nowadays are doing their buyer consultation over text or over email, because typically it's like Gen Z, Gen X buyers who are buying their home, and they prefer to do it all digitally. So they're having it over text or over email, sometimes over Zoom. So I would say for the most part, about 99% of buyer consultation can be automated right now. So what do we got here? 98%, 100%, 50%, and 99%. So that's a lot of automation that can happen in the lead management part of it. So we're gonna say, let's say about 90% of that can be automated. Let's just darken this here. And then about 90% can be automated. Okay. Next, we got client and property management. So this one is the one that basically is the safest pillar when it comes to a real estate agent's job and whether or not AI is going to take it from them. So let's break this down. First, we have showings. So this is you actually going to the showing and letting the person in the door and showing them around the house. I put 50%. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, right now, depending on your market, maybe it's 0%, but there are some markets that are being super innovative right now where pretty much 100% of the process is automated. So there's companies like Open Door and a few others around the world and in the US that are allowing buyers to walk into the home by themselves. So they can actually go to like a key box on the door, and using this specific app, they can put in their information and they can actually get the keys and go into the house by themselves. So they don't need a real estate agent there to let them in the door. They can get into the house themselves, and then obviously AI can tell them all about the house, whether it's through the app or whatever it might be. So depending on your market, it can either be 0% or 100%. So I put 50% for showings, because even if your market doesn't have these specific key boxes or this technology yet that allows buyers to enter the home by themselves, it's coming. These companies are growing fast, so this technology is coming. Buyers do want this. They want to be able to, take a Saturday, go pick up a coffee and just tour a bunch of homes on their own without having to set it up with a realtor. And, some people just get anxious when there's a realtor there and whatever it might be. So we're going to say 50% of showings can be automated right now. Open houses, again, about 50%, because if you have the technology to allow people in the door for showings, you also have the same technology for open houses. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of realtors right now screaming at their computers saying, but you need to have a realtor there to answer their questions and to sell them on the house. And yes, that might be true, but AI can easily do that. Again, you could just have a QR code at the front that people scan, and now they have an AI that they can talk to the entire time. They can answer questions for them, give them neighborhood stats, give them recently sold items, do all that stuff that a realtor normally would. And honestly, a lot of the times realtors use like their assistant or somebody to sit in the open house. And realistically, let's face it, the majority of the time, a listing is not sold to somebody who saw the home through an open house. Typically, realtors like to do open houses to get themselves more buyer clients because people come through the door and then they help them and they say, oh, are you working with a realtor right now? And then they can kind of convert them into a new buyer. So if we're being honest, open houses don't really sell the house anyways, but it does help you convert more people into clients. So I put about 50% of the open house process or the open house system can be automated. Listing preparations. So this is things like, changing light bulbs, making sure the house is clean, putting out the lawn signs, things like that. Realistically, about 0% of that can be automated. You still need a human to be there and to do those things. Inspections, same thing. 0%. You still need to have a human inspect the home and still look at things in the home with the flashlight and the screwdriver and the humidity gauge and all that stuff. So 0% for that. And then the reassurance part, which is honestly one of the biggest roles of a real estate agent, which is just reassuring your client, letting them know they're making the right decision or they're getting a good price or they're overpaying for a home, basically being that psychiatrist for their client. That's 0% right now. Yes, you technically could use AI to talk to the person and say the same things, but I don't think it would hit home the same. So I think that realistically, this is one of the biggest things that is safe from AI, at least for the time being, for a real estate agent, is you being that human there, reassuring them and letting them know that they're making the right decision. So what do we got here? We got 50%, 50%, 000. So that's going to be like, 40%. Again, I'm not great at quick mental math, but you get the point. So let's do 40%. It's about right there. Okay. And then the last pillar here is admin and support. So let's dive into this. Again, this is anything that you're basically going to do at the office. So starting off, we got writing contracts. So this could be offers or listing agreements or whatever. About 99% of it can currently be automated easily. You can have an AI agent that you just give a voice note to or you send a text to saying, write up an offer for this house. And then the AI is going to go look at the MLS, get all the home information on it. It might ask you a couple questions. Hey, what price, what conditions, things like that. But it's going to autofill the whole contract for you, send it to you, maybe via DocuSign or whatever for you to sign and your clients to sign. AI can do that entire process for you already, and it's only getting better. So about 99% of that part can be automated because, obviously there might be the odd time where there's a super special condition or term in the contract that needs to be added, and you might want to hop in and do it yourself. Next, we have admin work. So, obviously it's a very vague term. Usually admin work happens inside of the computer. So this might be just organizing your files and, keeping client files up to date, updating your CRM, things like that. About 75% of all of that can be automated right now. You can have an AI agent that controls your CRM for you, can make changes, update notes, delete, add contacts, whatever. You can easily have an AI organize documents inside of like your Google Drive or your Dropbox so that you can move contracts around and make sure that the client's documents are being put into their proper folder, things like that. So about 75% of admin work can currently be automated, and it's only growing from there. Next, we have transaction management and conveyancing. These are kind of the same, although depending on your office, it could be different. Sometimes you have different people doing different things. So I split it up, but realistically, about 100% of it can be done already. Now, of course, this does depend on the software that you're using, and they might not allow for certain integrations and whatever. So actually, maybe I'll change this to 90% because some transaction management platforms don't allow for integration. Most do, but just in case, we'll change that to 90%. So sorry if you're watching this and you are a conveyancing person. AI is coming for your job. Sorry to say it, but it's just a lot easier to have AI look over documents, see if anything's missing, see if signatures are missing, if all the addresses line up, all of that stuff. AI can do that in like a fraction of a second, where the conveyancing person might take 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes to look over documents and verify everything. So it just makes more sense as we go into the future that we're going to be using AI for that kind of stuff. So about 90% on both fronts. Emails, same thing. About 90% of it can be automated. Whether you want to have AI reply to all your emails for you, or you want to just have AI write the responses and then you can look over them and send it or tweak it if you need to. About 90% of email stuff can be automated with AI. You can have AI organizing your inbox, giving you daily reports on who needs to be replied to and who doesn't, organizing it by priority status. There's a million things you can do with AI inside of your email. So about 90% of that process, I would say, could be automated right now. And then miscellaneous documentation. This might be anything from, signing stuff for your brokerage. So not necessarily client documentation, but other kinds of documentation, or like just random customized documents that like a builder or somebody might send you, where it's kind of one-off stuff. You can't train an AI on it because it's just one-off. So I would say about 75% of miscellaneous documentation can be. The other remaining 25% is just sort of random one-off stuff. So we got 99%, 75%, 90, 90, 90, and 75. So realistically, we're looking at probably, 92% or something if we average that out. So let's update this. 92%, let's go like there. Okay, so let's just delete this text so it's easier to see at a glance. As you can see, AI can automate a ton of the real estate agent's job currently. And it's only going to increase from here. But the good news is none of these pillars are completely full. So there is still little bits and pieces of the 4 main pillars that requires a person, that requires a real estate agent. Some of you might be looking at this and think this is BS and you're swearing at me through your computer. Some of you might look at it and think this is terrifying. I'm going to be out of job in a year. But how you should be looking at this is with excitement, because all this means is that your job is going to get much more simple and realistically easier, because AI is going to take off so much of your plate, and you're still going to be needed. Like, see, there's still boxes here. You're still going to be needed. However, you're just going to have less work to do, and you're going to have to put your focus on the most important things, like being there to reassure your client, showing up for those appointments, and really having that human-to-human interaction that a lot of people will always continue to want. Don't get me wrong, there is going to be a subset of the market who want to buy or sell a home completely through AI. There are definitely 100% going to be like for sale by owner AI programs where people can just buy and sell their home through AI. That is going to exist. But there still also is going to be a subset of the market that is always going to want a human there to talk to. AI is just going to make it easier for all of the different subsections. So if it's for sale by owner people, it's going to make it easier for them to sell their home and make it easier for buyers to buy their home. But for the people who want to continue using a real estate professional, there will still be a need for realtors. It's just AI is going to make a lot of your job easier and get rid of a lot of the minutia and the sort of back end stuff that you probably don't like doing anyways. Most realtors get into the business because they're a people person and they like talking to people and they like networking and going for coffee and going for lunch and all that kind of stuff. That's what you're going to be doing more of, rather than filling out contracts, answering emails, searching through the MLS and making lists. All the digital stuff is going to be automated for you. So hopefully these little graphs that I put together help you understand what's coming in the future, what is currently happening with AI, and whether or not you should be worried about your job. So hopefully seeing that diagram and seeing how it all breaks down and then what AI can currently automate will help you understand whether or not AI is going to be coming for your job. Now, I'd like to think that I have more of a front row seat to this issue, being as that I'm a real estate agent, but I'm also heavily involved in AI and automations. So now let's get to the answer of the question once and for all. Is AI going to replace real estate agents? In my opinion, AI is not going to replace real estate agents. However, it is going to drastically change the role of a real estate agent. What I mean by that is I think in the next probably 2 to 5 years, the job of a realtor is going to be nearly unrecognizable to realtors today. You're not going to be answering your own emails. You're not going to be writing your own contracts. You're not going to be doing any of your own admin work or doing your own marketing or anything like that. If I had to predict the future, I would say that AI agents or AI assistants, let's call them, are going to basically be the new CRM. Basically, every successful real estate agent uses a CRM to help them in their business. And I think that in the future, probably the very near future, every real estate agent is going to have their own AI assistant or their own AI agent that handles 80% of their business for them. Or it could even be on more of a brokerage level where now the conveyancing and transaction management and support team is replaced by AI, and all the realtors who come and join that team just get to use that AI system. In which case, brokerages and teams will be able to use this AI technology as a way to attract and recruit more agents to their team. It's going to be a competition for who has the best AI technology in their brokerage. Which team or which brand is most integrated with AI? Think about when the internet first came out, the first brokerages who had computers in their office and who had websites, and to be able to fill out contracts with a keyboard rather than having to fill it out manually by hand. Those are the brokerages that every new and young and successful realtor wanted to join because it made their lives easier and it was just keeping up with technology. I think the same thing is going to happen with AI. It's not necessarily going to replace realtors, but it is going to replace the realtors and the brokerages who don't adapt to it. You're going to be left in the dust because these other brokerages and these other realtors and these other teams are going to supercharge their business so much because their productivity is going to 10x with AI. The ones who don't use AI are going to be essentially left in the Stone Age. They're going to be the ones who are still manually filling out their contracts by hand. Meanwhile, everybody else is using a keyboard. Now, in the diagram, we could see just how much of a real estate agent's current job can be replaced by AI, but we could also see that there is still a fraction of the really important functions that can't be replaced by AI. And probably some distance in the future, we're gonna have, AI humanoid robots that are gonna be able to meet with the client and they're gonna feel just like a human and they're gonna be able to give that buyer or seller that peace of mind. But I think that is still way in the future. For the next 5 to 10 years, I would say real estate agents' jobs are safe as long as you adapt to this technology and you bring it into your business to supercharge your productivity and not only make your job easier and more efficient, but also allow you to give better service to your client. I mean, imagine how much more focus you could put on your client and on your business in general if you didn't have to worry about any of the admin stuff, any of the marketing stuff, any of the lead follow-up, lead qualifying, filling out contracts, conveyancing, all of the stuff that you do behind the scenes when you get back to the office. If you didn't have to do any of that, imagine how much more extra time you could spend servicing your client and making sure that they are getting the best experience possible. So that's my prediction for 2025 and 2026, probably even 2027, is that you are going to see a lot of real estate agents using AI more and more. You're going to see multiple solo agents doing $1 million plus annual GCI simply because they have AI infrastructure built into their business from the ground up. That's why I started this channel. That's why I started making these videos, because I think it's so important that AI agents see not only what is possible, but actually start to integrate this stuff into their business so that you're not left behind. I truly believe that AI is going to be bigger than the internet. And I mean, think about it. Can you think of a single realtor right now who doesn't use the internet? No, there isn't a single one. It's not possible to be a realtor and not use the internet right now. The same thing is going to be happening with AI. It won't be possible to be a real estate agent if you're not using AI in your business. Even the tools that you're currently using, like your CRMs and DocuSign and all these different tools, they're going to be so heavily integrated with AI already that it's going to be a no-brainer to just inject it in every other part of your business. So now that you have seen what this AI wave that's coming at us is going to do to our business, the next question is, how do you stay ahead of it? And there's two answers to that. Either one, you can hire somebody like a consultant or a development agency to start building some of these tools and infrastructure into your business. Or two, you can teach yourself how to build these tools and use these AI platforms to boost your productivity in your business. I started posting online about what I was automating in my own business because I wanted to be able to basically help you on both fronts, whether you're looking to hire somebody to do it for you or learn how to do it yourself. I wanted to be able to help in either way. So if you're a real estate agent who is wanting to integrate AI into your business, here are your two options. In the description below, I have a few different links. The first one will link you to the waitlist for my online school, community, and course that's going to teach you how to use all the different AI tools, how to automate your business, how to build AI agents, basically everything that I show in my videos, but it's going to go way more in depth and actually show you step by step so you can follow along how to automate different parts of your business, build AI agents to start taking some of this stuff off your plate, and how to use all the different AI tools that are currently out there. I also teach you the basics of working with AI and automations and APIs. I teach you all the terminologies and key concepts. It's basically a complete training course on how to use AI in your business as a real estate agent. On top of that, it's also a community. So you're going to be part of a group of other real estate agents who are looking to automate their business and use AI and become this next wave of realtors who are supercharging their business with this new technology. Of course, there's going to be live calls and masterminds and guest speakers and all the good stuff that you would want in a community. So if you want to stay ahead of the curve and you want to be that next generation of a real estate agent, click that first link below and you'll be able to sign up to the waitlist for my community. It's not completed yet, so it's just a waitlist, but the first 100 people to sign up are going to get a bunch of extra bonuses like locked in early bird pricing, my list of automation templates so you can just drop them right into your business rather than having to build them yourself. If you are a real estate agent that does not want to learn how to build this stuff yourself, you just want it implemented into your business, then I can help you there as well. In the description, you can book a call with me and my team where we will dive deep into your business, all the tools that you're using, your systems, your processes, and we will help you figure out what can be automated, what specific tools you should be using, how to use them, and our development team can even build these custom AI systems for you and implement them into your business. So whether you want to do it yourself or you want it done for you, we can help you. My goal with this channel is to help as many real estate agents as I possibly can learn how to use AI in their business so they don't get left behind. So if you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps tell YouTube that this video was valuable and push it out to more real estate agents, and that helps me accomplish my goal of getting this content out to as many realtors as possible. If you are already subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. And like I said, join that waitlist to my community below so that you'll be the first to be notified as soon as it launches, and you can be a part of the first 100 people to get those added bonuses. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate the support, and we will see you in the next video.